So there we go. Meeting started. Apologies from absence. Do we have
Councillor Stagg, Councillor Peel.
Lovely. Are we happy to accept those? Marvellous. Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. Declare any disclosable pecuniary interests and any other interests. Anyone?
We've got one item on here for Royal British Legion. I'm chairman of the branch of Royal British Legion.
Brilliant.
So I need to declare that.
I need to declare that I know one of the people involved in one of the later issues, but only in a professional capacity. Anything else for anyone? Marvellous. Right, yeah. Representations from interested parties. Paul, that's you.
That's me, isn't it?
That's
I
you.
can talk now, can I? Okay.
No longer than 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay, I'll try and be succinct. Obviously, we've placed all the orders now for all the bike racking, which is good. So it's, yeah, I thought then it's better work out how we can actually make it all happen, really, because we placed the orders from, you know, we have two suppliers, Maceman Amstad, who are the main supplier, and they're the company over in Corby. They'll want to come and do all of the racks in one hit. They want to come and like do drips and drabs. So I've been going to see all of the different parties who potentially they were going to do the install with, just to see where they're at. There's a bit of a wrinkle with the church. Unfortunately, I've missed an opportunity to put a prerequisite approval with the church commission board or something, and they only meet 5 times a year, and their next meeting is not until September. So they were going to be one of the beneficiaries of some of the racking from Maceman Amstad. So it could either mean we don't do any of the other installs until September, or we have to think of an alternative way of doing the church, and we get Maceman Amstad to install what they were going to install, maybe in a slightly different place than the church. They were only going to install a couple of, they were like these Sheffield hoops at the back of the church.
That's right, the back door, isn't it?
Yeah, right where the back door is for the office staff there. You know, I would like to see them in sooner rather than later, to be honest. That'd be my personal. You know, it's been a long time coming. So.
Well, can we just hold those back and then fit them when we get it?
Well, we might have. Yeah, we might have to fit them, or.
Are they the ones that are they going into the ground? Or?
Yeah, they'll be fitted into the ground. So. Anyway, that's one of the issues. So the other issue was the co-op, which is the alternative supplier with the big shelter. Now they sort of said, well, I'm not sure about the big shelter, and I've gone down to the co-op again because personally I think it would be beneficial to have more racking at the co-op.
It's a key sort of destination, isn't it?
Yeah, because it is a major place where people go. So what they've suggested is actually, I don't know if you know what they've got outside the front door at the moment, but outside their front door they've got like a pile of coal and brick. What they've said is that actually you could have that space there, we'd move all that stuff out of the way.
That would be a good place because it's sheltered.
And then, and then, so what I'm thinking is we'll maybe recut where we're going to put some of the things. Maybe we'll get, Maceman Amstad to do the install there, but you wouldn't need the covered cycle rack there because it's undercover anyway.
No, that would be an ideal place for an uncovered one.
Yeah.
So put a covered one somewhere else.
And I know some ideas came up for the covered one. So maybe the first question is then, are you happy about that as a decision in terms of actually seeing if we can offer the co-op, maybe sort of.
I'm if it's underneath that.
Because that's where you naturally put your bike anyhow. So it's
it's right outside the front door. I mean, we weren't expecting that, to be honest, but the guy said today. Yeah. Okay, so that's a decision. Good. Okay, we'll just need to recut. Now, what are we going to do with the covered rack? That's the next question, because we
Have
have
we got-
ordered that.
Have we got one coming here?
Well, we do have, what I'd specified with Mason and Amstaff was that we would have one of the, for the cafe, one of the bar racks with the end pieces, so that you get, hopefully cyclists coming by to visit the cafe.
Yes.
And that was sort of planned for going out the front. So
Something covered maybe between here and the library. So that
you could put a cover. Yeah, there's a possibility to put some.
because then
maybe have a wander around outside.
Kids that know they can put their bikes in the rain, and
Where would that be?
there's sort of a dead space as you come in at the end of the car park, I think, but I don't know who owns that.
The only thing is, ideally, it would be on a concrete base, which is a bit of a wrinkle.
Yeah, I mean, because our grounds maintenance people actually do take up the bollards, don't they, and drive through. So we'd have to keep that as a clear way.
Yeah, okay.
And you have to have both
Yeah.
ends able to lift out,
Both,
because you
yeah.
sometimes get one or other end blocked off with
So
people
what I'm
parking.
thinking, we probably need to do that down on the ground
It's
rather
to
than in
go
this
and have a
room
look,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
But I think in principle,
In
I think we've got
principle.
Yeah,
it right.
good idea to bring
Other
it
than
up.
that, I mean, when I emailed you about the co-op, I think you come up with some alternative
Yeah.
suggestions.
This sounds better.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
No, the co-op sounds like a good place to put.
Co-op plus here, I think.
So you like the covered rack and the other rack for the.
I think so. I think,
Yeah.
that just on the way we want to encourage people here, we
Yeah,
want
yeah.
more, there was certain on that facility, it'll be townsfolk coming.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's the library, flat house,
Yeah.
the doctors, that combination.
That's true.
Quite a lot of demand.
I mean, there is a covered rack at the doctor's.
There is. But if you can't hear, you might go to the doctors, have a coffee and take your book back. All in one fast swoop.
All right,
With a nice
so we need
bike.
to just work out details, don't we?
I need to work out where it's going to go, so
Yeah.
I'll wander around the way out. Okay.
Yeah. If you need any help, we're
And
here.
what about the
Yeah,
other planning
next week.
permissions, like the highways permissions for?
Well, Highways have given us the go-ahead for the places that we've said we would want one. Now, I've come up with another alternative idea. You know where the one is opposite the Greedy Piglet, where they now put the post box?
Yeah.
The idea that was that we were going to take away the existing one. Now, the existing one does look like a bit of an oil tank. Now, I thought actually, I wonder where you can repurpose that. Now, maybe we could get some like cladding board. Now, I was thinking like, how do I best describe it? Sort of rough cut wood in planks around the outside, and then a sort of a frame at the top to actually make it look nice, rather than it being an oil tank.
Well, I mean, it isn't an oil tank. It's
Oh no, it's not.
It looks like it.
Once upon a time, it was the best thing that the council
I'm
could
just
provide
thinking
for the
that,
job.
yeah, I've got a friend who I was wondering whether I could persuade to give me a hand to do something with it.
And leave it in the same place.
No, I think move it, because I think if we're going to put, we'll put the bike rack outside the Greedy Pig, because that's where we've said we're going to do it, and that's a good place to have one of those.
So we can upcycle the one that we...
We could upcycle that one. I'm not quite sure where to put it in the meantime to go and do some upcycling, but yeah, we need to get it moved and then.
Yeah, we need to find out
Repurposed.
about this, because it has been moved once, I don't know if you noticed. It was further to the left. But we've got this problem about the services being...
Well, yeah,
which
Mason
I-
and Amstable,
you
we'll
know-
check that out. They've
Yeah,
got
I keep
proper.
telling you about
Oh, no,
it, it is the
yeah.
reality, and
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
it's silly
And,
just to go
and
around
Colin
sticking
from
heads in the
Mason,
sun,
yeah,
hoping it
they
will
guys
go
are
away.
professional street installers. They won't just
NCC.
they won't just come and
So don't throw that
stick
one
a
away.
hole through the sewer.
They don't throw it away just yet, and therefore we need to find somewhere to store it, don't we, while we're doing this
Yeah.
upcycling.
I don't know whether we can get a fork. I think it's sort of suitable for like lifting with a
Yeah,
fork.
but we need to know where it's going once we've forked it up, so... I'm not-
I know you're in agreement with that as an approach. So I think
I'm happy with it, it's not just me, but I'm happy with it in principle. The only thing I ever worry about when you start boarding and doing...
someone's got to paint it every now and then. So.
It's maintenance of them,
Yeah.
and if we don't maintain them, they become an eyesore.
And then people say, why should you maintain it?
Yeah, so we just need to look at what the proposal is. But let's say at the moment, don't throw it away.
No,
We
we
can't,
just,
don't throw what away.
The cycle rack that's currently
No, we shouldn't.
the planter one, the one that's got
we
plants
need
in
to
it.
put it
Yeah,
somewhere.
no,
Where
I
can you
know
put
which
it?
one you mean.
Where can it go?
Council workshops?
Is there room? Is there room?
Okay.
But it doesn't need to go
We're going to
inside.
issue
It goes
that.
outside.
Yeah, they'll
They
find
just
somewhere.
weather proof.
Yeah, they'll find
So it can
somewhere.
just sit
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you can sit outside council,
yeah.
there's some place, can't you?
Okay, do we want to go on to 19.23 now and then do the minutes, or is that all, we're halfway there already? And then do the minutes, or
Yeah.
carry? So, consider possible sightings for bike shelters. We've sort of done that already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And then to agree that Amble Town Council will install the concrete pad ready for the bike shelter installation.
Yes.
Which concrete.
Yeah, the key thing is that for the shelter, or both sets of shelters, we would need to have some concrete pads in place. That's what their recommended install procedure is.
So those are the covered shelters.
They're the
So
covered
the one
shelters.
that would come up here somewhere.
So the one that will come up here somewhere, and the one that we've also specified for down by the courthouse.
Right.
We've got two small ones for the courthouse. They would need to go onto a concrete base.
Have you got dimensions and...
Yeah, there is install details which I can send to you.
On cost.
Well,
Well,
Emma asked me to put it on here and said it's something that the maintenance guys can do.
Okay.
It's just pouring a bit of concrete with
Yeah.
holes in the right places, isn't it?
I know you've given charts out of things, but I've forgotten where the courthouse one is going.
well, you know where the Barbers is at the end,
Yeah.
and if you come up from the Barbers, on the left-hand side there, if you're looking towards the Barbers, there's a space where...
So where the wheelie bins are. at the moment,
Yeah.
or just- yeah.
So if you walk, if you go
Oh, you're
down
in
the
the yard now,
Yeah,
are you?
you're
Yeah,
in the
in the
yard.
yard.
That's what I wanted to.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So it's for
It's in the
people
yard,
working in the
Yeah,
courthouse.
yeah, I didn't,
Leave it,
that's what it's in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
no,
It's nice and safe and
It's left-hand side as you go
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
where the
yeah,
first
fine.
door is.
Yeah, fine.
That's fine. That's good, so, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So if we just get the installation details and we can give it to the maintenance team and...
I'll send you the details. I've got the details for the other big one, so I'll take it
What's-
up on the way out.
What's the sort of timescale on...
Well, I think of these ones, they're a different supplier, the Gladstone or what is it? I think they might have them on the shelf, so I think that potentially, I said to Emma, hold off on shipping here, because otherwise we might end up with rats that we can't sort.
Yeah, we need the bases in place once,
Yeah.
once the base is in place, then they can come in
Yeah.
and install.
Yeah, so if I send you the base details, need to sort out where they're going to go, and then make sure that we can get. And it might be that if you're installing the big one here, you might find somewhere that's suitable anyway.
Is that something we could tie up with the maintenance walk
Yep.
later on?
Yeah, so when, yeah, well, just
Or we need to
in
come up with the data for that
Yeah.
sooner than later.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Is that all bike stuff, cycle rack stuff?
We
done?
need to vote on that, don't we, to agree that?
That's what
Yep.
we do.
Okay.
So are we happy? Do we need to vote on both things? The sightings
You
and...
propose a seconder and then...
Yeah, do we need to vote on both or just the two together?
Well, the first item, 2301, is just to consider possible sightings. We've just talked about that.
Yes.
So
That's
it's just
fine.
agree.
But it's 2302 to agree that we will install. We need to formally
I
agree.
will make the proposal then that we agree
Yeah,
to do the installation of concrete. The seconder?
I'll second it.
Yeah, okay.
Let's have a vote then.
Those in favour?
Nice. Good job,
We're
David.
just voting for all the concrete.
That's handy.
Sorry, there was just one last thing which I just wanted to raise with you, just see what your thoughts are. I did speak with the chap Tony in the Barbers in the Bazaar. Now the pavement outside is pavement where we plan to install the
Yes.
eyelets. they currently are putting all of they've got like 4 boards, I don't know whether you've seen them
Yes,
outside, because he has an issue, because they don't have so much shop frontage, they just wanted to sort of advertise, obviously upstairs is what you wouldn't know what's upstairs. So they were saying like their issue is that they need something to advertise. So he was a bit concerned about having hoops where they might impinge on his signing posts. So I don't know what do you think.
I suspect there's a licence situation here, because I can tell you with certainty that the people who put tables and chairs outside the coffee shops and things have all got licences from the county council. And the county council come out and they measure, and because there are laws about how much pavement width you have to have. So I think something we should be, that's why I'm asking you about whether you've got the relevant permissions. It isn't just a matter of going to a listed building and shoving something in.
No, I agree on a listed building. You can't,
I mean, you can't put it into the stone, it's got to only go into the mortar, for instance. There are rules about it.
Yeah.
And as a council, it wouldn't look very good if we were
But then in the
ignoring.
hoops, highways have been involved all the way through.
Yeah, highways are understanding where we were looking to put the hoops.
So in terms of advertising now, I think we need to take on board the request of the tenants of the bazaar, you know, for some consideration of their advertising. But I think what they need to do is come back and with a proposal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying they may have a licence to put their
Oh, they may
boards
well.
there,
I don't
in
know.
which, because you can't rely on people at the county council talking to each other.
But I'd be very surprised if they
I would be,
did,
but
to be honest, because I think they probably just thought, hey, we need to get people in here or put a board outside.
Yeah, I agree. But we, you know, we do have to take all those things into account.
Oh, I don't know.
Alright. So we need to talk to them about what they'd like to do. So I think it's up to us to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So at least we can
All right.
find some way of getting in touch with them and asking them.
About what we can meet them on the walk.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
You're free to go home now.
But in terms of the date for Mason Amstad install, yeah, I think we also I'd spoken with Edward Primewell, and they've got to do some ground preparation as well. So I'm looking for a date to do the ground preparation ready, because they want to come and do the whole lot all together.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm thinking, yeah, hopefully end of July time, really. Yeah.
A good thing to aim for, July, end of July, early August.
Yeah, it would be good to get them in for the end of the summer, really.
Brilliant. Thank you
Okay.
very much indeed.
Thank you
Right.
very much.
Thanks.
Moving back to 19.22, minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any issues or sadnesses or anything within them?
I'm happy to propose them.
I'll second them.
Lovely. Everyone happy? Do you want to vote on that? Fantastic.
On the bottom of each page, and then sign and date the last
Jeff, you'll
page.
read my signature. Then the great signature. People will recognise it. Yes, it's always. Step 65th?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so 19.24, Christmas market.
Thank you.
Review quotes for the Christmas lights and agree a 3-year contract with current providers or with a new company with a view to making a recommendation for the first contractor to the next full council meeting. So we've all seen the various layouts and
Yeah, I
stuff,
couldn't
the
really
numbers,
understand them,
and
don't think they're very clear.
very complicated.
You ought to have seen the pack that came with them. I've just sent you the important bits.
Well, perhaps you just go through it quickly and explain to us.
Okay, well, light are the ones that we're with at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we all know, we weren't very happy with the service we got last year. I'm not sure whether they just got complacent because we've been with them for so long, so we decided to look
Well, they've
elsewhere.
never really, ever done it all tickety.
No, and last year was particularly bad. I mean, Emma having to stand in the tree to actually make the connection for the light switch on is just most
We did get
ridiculous.
fairy, didn't we?
Is she quoted? Quote 4. Her own life service.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it was
I don't think
interesting.
she'd want to go through that stress again, her little
It was
face.
interesting the year that I was mayor, because I was being assured, standing on the marketplace, being assured that someone was up a ladder somewhere in the background, ready to make a connection somewhere upon high, and I got to the bit where I said, and I now switch on the lights. We had the countdown, and I said, right, now we switch on the lights, and lo and behold, they came on. But
To this
It was
day,
strange.
never discovered.
where this man was up a ladder, I don't
So
know.
that's quote 3. Quote 2, Christmas Plus Limited.
Yeah, they've worked out the most expensive. These
They seem
did
to-
Thrapston last year, just
That's quite-
started. Pardon? That's exactly what I said. I said I didn't like that at all.
That's what I really
Um, They did a very good job of Thrapston's though. Apparently the feedback was great. Several people said to me how nice it looked. However, they have worked out the most expensive.
I couldn't really understand the cost. I mean, it's an annual cost, isn't it?
Yeah, based on a 3-year term.
But we never owned the equipment.
No, well, you see, this is where we went wrong, I think, with this one. We purchased some items
Yes.
and hired some items.
Yes.
And then obviously when our purchased items went wrong, which several lengths of the fairy lights did last year
Right.
and had to be replaced, and that was another mad panic because he
Yeah,
said he
well,
couldn't get hold of any of them. Then of course when the new ones went up, they looked lovely and bright, and the old ones looked awful.
That's right.
So Emma and I said if we just go on a higher basis, then we can change it every year if we want. We can change, keeping it round about the same cost. We can have a completely different theme if we wish.
So it's still running out about the same as if we used our own.
No, because the only bits we've got, the only quote that we've got here that is using our bits is this first one here at 12,000. That's using our existing icicles,
Okay.
and then just renting the other bits from them as well. So it
Right.
still works out 12,800.
That's-
So is that the one with
brilliant.
baubles on the tree? Because one of them's got baubles, and I didn't think we ever had baubles.
So
Well, we wanted something different, and everyone said the tree just looks pathetic, and it does.
Trouble is they'll get nicked. I mean,
That one's got balls.
yeah.
So that's the sort of theme that Thrapston had with these, and they're pulsating stars and snowfall type. Oh, I didn't read my phone in because this chap here sent me an actual video of it that showed it a bit
do we
better.
have a view on pulsating?
Horrible.
I'm not a fan of pulsating
I'm not
myself,
a fan
but
of
Well, I must admit, the chaps that sent me the video clip of this, I did feel that, you know, the warning they give for people with epilepsy,
Yeah.
I felt that it should be, because it was a bit
oh, is
too,
that light?
this light centre, because I said
I-
to him, you've not quoted us for something wow on the tree, and he came back with this video, and I was just like, well, that is,
I understand why you didn't. Yes.
yeah, it is quite, so we've probably got to, Emma and my view is it's got to look classy,
Yeah.
classical, so we decided to stay with the warm white and bright white. We don't really want bright colours and things like that, I don't think.
No,
I think it can tend to make it look a bit tacky.
Warm white and cool white, do we play the same?
No, we've got the white, which is the bright white, which I've had lots of comments from people saying it doesn't fit in with the old buildings, we need something a bit more mellow.
That's the stuff we've got already.
That's the stuff we've got
So
already, but the warm
is
white,
that sort of slightly yellower one.
Yeah.
Cool white is that slightly bluer glacial thing.
bright, really bright white, yeah. I forgot what I was just going to say then.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Isn't it?
So did it just go on what we spent in the past?
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Yes, yeah, I mean, their
recent past.
costs last year were way more than that with the lights that we had to replace at short notice.
What,
And
20,000?
Which is,
yeah,
I remember approving that.
and well, it all came in dribs and drabs
Yeah, we
because
didn't-
obviously
we
you'd
didn't
approved
ever
the
approve it.
annual
No,
cost,
okay.
but then with the panics of what needed replacing.
Just to clarify my slow brain, Sparkex,
Yeah, this is a new company that
and that's suggesting using some of our existing lights.
it has, yes, that's why that's the cheapest quote.
And
But
that's,
then we don't like our existing lights, they're too bright.
And potentially there could be more problems with them, some more lengths of them might well be The one thing that Light has done, he has given us the money back for the lights that we replaced at the last minute. He said if we go with him, then he'll knock the price off of the lights. So that's one you know, sort of concession he's made there. Because I said to him, well, we want, you know, we've just bought these new lights, we need to use them. And he said, well, if you want a different scheme and you want to go with all warm white, then he said, I'll give, and you go with us, I'll give you the money back for it.
Lisa,
That's
the
one good
big
thing.
problem last year in my mind was not them not getting the blooming things up when they should have done,
Yeah.
and having to be chased.
Yeah.
It's about the service.
Well, that's what I mean. I think that's why I say I think they became a bit complacent. And he said it was all to do with changing his contractor. And we said, well, that's not our problem. It's not our problem. There was his contractor was one chap and his wife.
Yeah.
That was it. Installing them.
We can't have that.
No. So,
Do we discount them on that basis?
well, based on the prices come back with and the fact that, you know, threatening to leave him, we might get a better service. He has said he will use a different contractor. In fact, he says he uses the same contractor as this Christmas Plus, which we've had good feedback about. Emma and I like this chap. This chap seemed very professional. He is dedicated to the Sparks one. He is dedicated to, that's the only job he does. He literally concentrates on Christmas, and that's all he does basically all year.
I know
And
you've
he's-
given 3 references, but I can only see 2.
Oh, it's probably because I didn't give you,
Say that again.
The last sheet. or
yeah, the
something.
last, I tried to pick out so you didn't have masses and masses of
They've
information.
got their own vehicles, haven't they?
I've contacted these two as well, I'm just waiting for them to come back. I got an out of office reply from this one. And this one has come back to me and said this Steve is away for a little bit. So those, hopefully those will come back.
What's this second page for 8,260?
That was his initial quote before we said what extra bits and pieces we felt we needed. That was his just bog standard,
Okay,
basically like for like what we've already had.
we're using our own bits and pieces.
So then when you know, there's been a lot of to-in and fro-in, you know, could we include this in it? How much would it be if we included this or changed this or whatever?
So if we just put a look at his quote then, we've got the cool white bicycles, 194 of them. Are they around the place or are they all joined together?
They're the ones that go across the road.
Okay, across the
Yeah.
road.
So we're not using our own on that one, not that.
With the price here,
Yeah.
yes, because there's actually 705 metres of it in total. And I can't remember whether we've only replaced.
Okay, but anyway, he's based on the fact he's going to reuse some of our lights.
Yeah, he's quoted us to reuse them, or these prices at the bottom are for replacing all of them and not using any of them.
Oh, okay.
So he's still a lot cheaper than the rest of them, even if we went for the whole hog and replaced them all.
You and Emma like him. He's the cheapest quote anyway. So I'm happy to propose that's the one we go for.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
Which
so-
version has he got more than one?
Yeah, we've got
I think we should go for the 0.9 metre icicles, the longer ones, I think,
Right.
because I think it can take the
Well, it
scheme.
extends the shopping area
Yeah.
effectively.
So we're recommending a preferred contractor to full council, preferred contractor and quote.
Well, both, yeah.
It's the
both,
same thing.
yeah.
So you propose Sparkex?
Are we able to put in the kind of clause that they have to be done by guaranteed to be up?
This, you see, I think the reason that the council have stuck with this company for so long, when I first joined, I said to Emma, no, I don't think Emma was here, it was Hanneke, where's the map for the installation plan for the lights?
And they couldn't
We
find
haven't
it,
got
could
one.
they?
So then I contacted these and he said, we haven't got one either. I said, well, how do you know how to put them up? He said, it's just we've been doing it so long, our
Yeah.
contractors know. But that kind of held us hostage
Yeah.
to these people. But this chap says he comes, he does his own site visit, he works it out, he checks everything. They said the same.
Right.
Solution.
Yeah.
So we've got a proposal for quote 1, second, we vote on that, anyone
Yeah.
for it? There we go.
Right, easier than I think it was going to be.
Well, me too. I reckon it's
I thought we'd be here all night with
Let's
it.
not worry about
can't even
cross-stating
sing away through
Well,
because of the amount.
cross-stating cornettos.
No, yeah, we'll
No
it will be
problem.
tasteful,
Can we
believe me,
say no
tasteful.
crossing?
Yeah.
the amount of recommendation. full council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next item, review income and expenditure for the 2018 Christmas market with a view to setting a budget for entertainment for the 2019 Christmas market. We've got a spreadsheet here with, I presume, all the income on it.
That's it, yeah. Again, I just gave it
Yeah,
two.
it almost balanced, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, the numbers moved all pretty good.
Well, if we hadn't gone for the chevron, it would have looked very rosy. But because we decided we needed chevron, which we've now decided
We don't.
we don't,
Never again.
so it should look, we, you know, even if we just have the same people come again this year, which already I've had probably 5 new applications,
Yep.
it looks very healthy.
So the income's healthy, the expenditure without chevron is very low.
Well,
Even with
we've swapped
reindeer.
chevron for some donkeys, they're not donkeys.
Reindeer.
Oh, we could have donkeys as well.
Probably yak.
Don't get carried away. Enough trouble getting the reindeer. But yeah, so we've chevron are essentially reindeer now, aren't they?
And they'll
So we've
swap
got reindeer doing the jobs.
And we do a better job for reindeer.
So at the moment, in terms of setting a budget for entertainment, the reindeer come in under cost, and that's good for the moment. We don't need to decide anymore. It's just a review item, so we're happy to move on with them.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So item 1925, properties and open spaces. Arrange a date and time to carry out properties and open spaces inspection in order to decide necessary budget for October. Presumably, a nice cycle conversation, sooner the better.
Yeah.
I'm free next week. And I'm free every week on and off until August the 19th.
I've got
But
to do now.
I have, yeah, one Sunday, so I'm fine. So could we do next week? Is that possible? Is that too soon?
No, it's fine for me.
It's okay, but it's depending on the day.
Yeah.
So it should be all right for next week. So.
How does Tuesday during the day suit everybody then?
Tuesday sounds good to me. It's Tuesday, July the something.
July the 4th, isn't it?
That sounds
No,
good.
no, Thursday the 4th, isn't it? July the 2nd.
Second of July.
Tuesday the 2nd.
Extraordinary meeting, and then I get out of it.
Extraordinary meeting.
Yeah, I'm all right for the,
Cancel day all day.
Tuesday the 2nd's okay.
So I can do the second.
I can do it.
Do we need to see if Emma and Co are available, or you and Co, whoever? I don't know who's going to come.
I think it's me.
You.
And we need
Yeah.
concrete pad experts.
Yeah.
so I
So
can't
John,
do
if
the
you
2nd,
can
but I
do.
think it sounds like you've got enough people for it. It would be good if Councillor Stagg could be on it. He's on this committee, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's, you know, he's got a lot of interest in what we're doing, so.
I'll check if he's available then.
Yeah.
What time and where? Ish. 9?
Yeah, I don't
I
mind.
don't
We start at
know,
the cemetery
I
last
prefer
time.
Yeah, it
10.
starts at 7.
And we walk back.
Yeah.
There's no tea available in the middle anymore, but 9 at the cemetery unless we
Yeah.
hear otherwise.
Yeah.
9 at the cemetery.
Brilliant. Okay, 19.26, Royal British Legion Remembrance Events. An update on the recent remembrance events on the 6th of June and decide action plan for the 3rd of September and the 10th of November, especially regarding volunteers and manning temporary road closures. Over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, many thanks for those who helped us out at the D-Day commemoration. Unfortunately, we didn't get anybody in high-vis jackets. We did mention it at the estates meeting, but they didn't then materialise. But we got by with some volunteers, and Deborah did a sterling job of helping out with traffic control. So I'd like to personally thank Deborah Saxby for
I did pass your thanks on
the
to her.
good, the work
Right,
that
we
she did.
have got high-vis jackets.
We've got
Yes.
lots
Oh, yes.
of high-vis
Yeah, yeah.
jackets,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was nobody
Oh,
volunteered
you mean
to help them.
to wear the jackets
Yeah.
effectively?
Yeah, there was nobody at the last estates meeting. It was suggested that councillors would be asked if they'd like to come along and volunteer to help, but I think it got overlooked.
Well, no, I was away at another D-Day event on that day, so.
So we're
Right.
looking towards the 3rd and the 10th.
Yes.
What are the plans for the Tuesday the 3rd?
Tuesday the 3rd will be very similar to what we've done for D-Day. In other words, just before 11 o'clock we will the British Legion will go to the War Memorial into the centre of the road. The standard bearer, myself and any members behind us. I will lay a wreath and then do the two, trying to think of the word now, the two commemorations. And we'll have the bugler play before and after the 2 minute silence. And at the end of the 2 minute silence, I say the second piece, and then we about turn and come out of the road. But it means that we need to just hold up the traffic for about 5 to 10 minutes max, and everybody's usually pretty good about it. But we just need to be able to do that.
Okay.
To make sure that we don't have any fatalities with anybody coming around the corners and knocking the British Legion.
So there's plenty of volunteers for traffic management.
Do we need to put the signs up, warning people it's going to happen?
We don't usually on the 11th of November, and we don't, we didn't do for D-Day.
Right.
Lots of people turned up for it, lots of people came out to join in. Yeah, that we've never actually done that. It's all been pretty unofficial. We've not had an official road closure or anything like that, because that needs to be booked well in advance. We do for the Sunday, the main Armistice Sunday service on Sunday the 10th. But again, on Monday the 11th, we'll do the same thing again at 11 o'clock. We'll go to the War Memorial and we will conduct that same service again. With the two exhortations, we will do the same service again. And again, it's 5 to 10 minutes.
And the 3rd of September is 11 o'clock as well.
They're all at 11 o'clock, yeah. The 10th, Sunday the 10th, will be an afternoon one. We gather about 2 o'clock and it's about 2:30, I think, when the parade marches off. And it's then quite a long service. We have road closures. We need to get signs up. We need to be careful this year that we cover up the existing parking signs, because we made the mistake last year. The maintenance lads did a brilliant job of putting up new signs saying this area is closed for the day. However, they put them underneath a sign that said parking here available between the following hours. And if anybody noticed that and drew attention to that, you couldn't do anything about it. We had 2 traffic wardens, and I'm hoping the council will give us the permission again at full council for that. But they did an excellent job of controlling the traffic all day long, so we will need them again if council permits on that day.
So that's something for September, October, presumably.
Well, that one that you're talking about is only the November event.
That's
Yeah,
the
September,
but in
October
terms of
meeting,
full
yes.
council.
Yeah.
But in terms of today, we just need to minute that we need volunteers, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the Tuesday and the Monday, the 3rd of September and the 11th of November, aren't particularly a problem, because I said to you, Roy, didn't I, said if you're struggling, we can get the staff from here to go. That's 10 minutes, isn't
It would be nice just to get a little register of committed people.
Yeah.
Just say that you are committed to come on this date.
Yeah.
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 The only warning to that is you cannot direct traffic. You're not supposed to direct traffic.
No.
You can just stop people from coming, you know, for the 10 minutes, but you're not supposed to actually direct traffic.
No, we're not insured for that.
No.
So do we all need to just send an email around to people to ask for volunteers?
I think it's better if you get an official letter out and people that sign up to it.
Yeah.
Don't have a
Commitment.
come if you can arrangement. Say, are you here? And if you haven't got names, getting closer to the time,
Start
just,
saying.
we need some names.
I don't know what I'll be My timetable will be yet, so I can't commit to anything, but so
I've written the third down here, so I will check mine.
I've by email invited Lisa along to the British Legion meeting on the
Monday the 2nd.
Monday the 2nd of September, so that when we go through what the Legion are going to do, Lisa can hear our arrangements and can brief us on where we are with the council arrangements in terms of road closures and traffic wardens and anything else. So it'll be handy if we've got as much information as possible by then, and then we can cross-refer stuff at that meeting, and then everybody's...
So that's the 2nd of September,
That's the 2nd of September.
day before the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we really need
We
to
haven't
get
got
the
a
traffic
meeting now
wardens.
before then.
Can I ask
Approved
that
before
you
then.
discuss what is these days expected of the town council on the actual day, the Sunday? Because the last 2 years it's become, it used to be an absolutely 3-line whip. It was the one thing in the year that all the town
Attend,
council
yes.
were expected to turn up at, dressed appropriately, and then when the parade moves off up towards the church, the town council have always paraded behind them.
Follow on behind the British Legion, you join on the back of us.
Behind them,
As we
yeah.
march up, you fall in behind us.
But that's not been happening. It's been
No.
a raggle-taggle mess for the
No,
last 2 years.
The crowd have all then closed in around, and the councillors have sort of struggled to get through the crowd to get up there. But if they form up at the back of the...
Yeah, so
The
when
British
you
Legion.
arrange the parade, you need to make sure that that's going to be possible.
Yes,
And basically, it's more helpful if the town councillors out in the you know, outside the post office there, or where the ex-post office,
Yep.
stand roughly together so that
Yes.
they can fall in behind.
yeah.
We didn't
Because
get
that's
very
not
many
been
councillors
happening.
actually did it last year, did we?
We didn't, no, we had
No,
a very,
that is-
very, very poor turnout.
Yeah, that is the
So I
problem.
think we need as a council to
Mm.
look at what we want, what, you know, we might say, we're not going to do that ever again.
Mm.
But there needs to be, in my opinion, a formal decision made on that basis.
It does, because the council are invited to that service. The front row on the right-hand side is reserved for councillors. The district councillors and county councillors have got some space on the second row, immediately behind the town councillors. But they are the honoured guests. They march in behind the banner into church, and everybody stands while the council march in, and they stand when the council march out.
Okay, I think, is this beyond
So
the
we
remits
need
of
to-
the Estates Committee?
It is, I just
No, it's
bring
full
it up so
council
that,
issues.
Yeah, it's
because
a
you're having a
council
meeting and I, you know, I
Yeah.
wanted to just make sure it
Yeah.
got addressed at some point.
That's fine, so put that on the next full council,
I think put on the agenda.
Yeah. And you and I will need to liaise, Tony, on some of the other protocol in church as well,
Okay.
nearer the date.
Right, so 19.27, update on the courthouse roof. Take a look across the table.
So yes, I think you've seen the pictures, haven't you? I've had two verbal quotes so far, and they've both said just for the Collie Western and the repairs, well not repairs, I think it's a strip off felt and batten. They reckon about 45,000, and that's not including scaffolding. That was one ballpark figure. They've yet to submit the actual full quote, and I've got one other person still to come. Yeah, I think it's a situation where it's, you know, why didn't we get rid of it when we had the opportunity? But
Okay. But anyway, the discussion here is we've got to amend that roof, haven't we?
so yeah,
You know,
Here-
nothing else. We can't sell the other thing. We repair
No.
the roof. You know,
No.
giant topic, you know.
the further sorry.
Millennium Dome, yeah.
The further complication is that when I had a meeting with, excuse me, the neighbour, Mr Crawshaw, a lovely elderly gentleman, said that they've seen what they think of bats.
Yeah.
So they think we might have bats. So I'm in the process now of speaking to bat specialists and obtaining quotes for a bat survey. We have to do a bat survey before we can do anything.
So that will take some time presumably to get
Yeah.
everything teed up.
I mean, I have said to them it's urgent. I mean, how we've not got water coming in everywhere, I've no idea.
I'm sure we have
It's
got
like-
water coming
And
in.
it's not very long ago since
Stoking
we
into
spent
the
a lot
stone.
of money.
Yeah.
I know.
on
Last
that
year
one.
was the other section though, wasn't it?
But
Last
I'm
year.
feeling it's an urgent issue. We need to get some temporary cover up there.
Mm.
You know, I don't know what they do as temporary, but I've seen them, you know, people with thatch roofs, they have bits of tarpaulin and so on.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to have to clear some money
Something,
to do
especially
that.
if this weather.
And that's
goes
not going to be
on.
cheap even then, because, you know, cheap things get blown off. So
Mm.
we need a temporary fix up there to stop the water coming in quick.
Yeah.
Who do we turn to for that?
Well, either of these two people are qualified.
Yeah, I can give them a call tomorrow and say what kind of income. The only thing is, even with the tarpaulin, I'm not sure how we stand with the bat protection people and all that sort of thing, because if you cover
Well, I
up
think it
their
would depend
holes.
what kind of bats they are, won't it? That's the major thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's the first
But
thing.
yeah, I'll
I'll
look
talk to the bat people, but the bat people can't tell us to leave a hole in the tree.
No, I know,
The roof,
I know,
because the bats
yeah.
are going in there. Yeah, we've got a hole in the roof.
Yeah,
we've
but
got to
if
fix
they're
it.
not bats that are protected or something,
Yeah.
then it won't matter so much.
Yeah, a tarpaulin with a bat hatch. Yeah, okay. But we do need to get something temporary up there, don't we? We
Yeah.
can't just leave that.
Okay.
And then we're down into a full council for approval, whatever it is.
Mm.
You know, I suggest that it doesn't need to come back here before it goes to full council.
No, it's
No,
just
yeah,
a sort of
that's
direction.
it.
No,
Yeah.
we've got to spend the money, haven't we?
Yeah.
Something we can
Okay,
get on.
moving on. Update on Amble Waste Less project and repair cafe. I think we talked last time about encouraging the Waste Less project to get a grant from the council. They've now got a chunky grant from somewhere, National Lottery, I think it is.
I think
So
so.
they're able to survive without any
Yep.
help from us, so that's good news for them, and they've clearly got some traction in town with all the work they're doing. And the repair cafe on the 13th of July, is that here or is that Victoria?
Yes, that is there.
And it's got a lot of social media advertising, a lot of people have seen get quite excited by it, so it seems a good thing for us to support and
Yeah.
encourage.
Yeah.
And then moving on, I think, discuss a policy for us to have as an environmental policy and its impact on estates. I presume the idea is we should try and draft something at some point. The simpler the better, I would imagine, and just try and come up with something that commits ourselves as a council and as an organisation to doing something and giving ourselves the freedom to do it as easily as possible.
I definitely, you know, believe that we should be environmentally friendly and we should be everything that the policy might cover. You know, I don't understand the purpose of the policy, to be quite honest.
It's a statement, I suppose.
Yeah, because it ends up in past history is it becomes more restrictive than it is open. You know, as soon as you write something down, if you haven't written it down, you know, somebody pops up and says, well, that wasn't on your policy.
But it could just be 2 or 3 almost strategic sentences saying,
Yeah.
we aim
So
to do this, we aim to do that, we aim to do that.
There are probably dummy ones out there on the internet. To be
So it's
found.
more of a statement than an
Yeah.
actual policy, isn't
Do
it?
you want me to maybe draft something up?
Yeah, go and see if we get something simple.
Well, it will be
Describe
very quickly.
what we are. Yeah.
But again, just as a heading for us to follow. 19.30, receive an update on Snipe Meadow, discuss plans for the future.
So I don't know whether any of you have been down there. The boardwalk has started to be removed, but obviously it's the community payback that are doing it, so they're coming as and when they can and when the weather's not too bad. I've been down there, it looks fine. There's piles of wood which I've got Rebecca to advertise on social media for people to come and collect. We did want to try and burn it initially, apparently, down the rugby club, which I didn't necessarily agree with, but the rugby club couldn't give us permission because it's not their land, and I've since found out from you it's not the school's land either. So that's we thought that was the best way forward to advertise it, so people can come and help themselves, take as much or as little as they want. So yeah, that's how that is at the moment. It's just moving forward. We're still not. I dropped another email to Ian Baish at planning because I spoke to him about 3 weeks ago, and he said he was going to have a look at it with a view to making a decision, and I've still not had anything back from him, so I'll chase him again tomorrow.
Okay. So we're just beholden on the plan.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that.
Once we've got planning permission, how quickly can we move?
Well, I think it was an issue with funding. Emma said they've got, I think Hanneke got quotes. You've seen quotes, haven't you, for the boardwalk? So obviously it's a case of contacting those that have quoted us to see if they will, you know, the quotes have changed at all. Emma was talking about funding. I can't remember what she said now. Section 106.
There are also grants available. Heather Smith, when she was county councillor, put us on to Orgean.
I was going to say that's all
Kingscliff.
yeah.
They've got funds for that kind of project.
Yeah.
Sue Davis would fill you in on that.
Yeah.
Sue Davis.
Yeah,
Sue Davis
the
is-
I know Emma's been-
District Council, she knows all about Orgean.
Yeah.
So is it worth going back to the quotees, whatever they're called, as soon as possible? to try and-
Yeah.
I think
So
we
you've got that
we
in place.
possibly need a little group together outside of this meeting.
Yep.
You know, to get a project plan together. Because in the project plan there's various questions and so on. Because we have talked about using volunteers to build it. And you know, yes, you know, that volunteers can be involved, but you do need somebody that's got some structural knowledge
Yes.
on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be knocking the
I
tent
think what
pegs
they've
in
done,
everywhere.
what they've done in Peterborough is they put the main structure in with contractors, and they've got
Okay.
volunteers to do
Yeah.
the ball.
So we need to, on that type of thing, then we need to work with the suppliers, don't we? To say, right, can you just do as the main role?
The main
And then
bits,
we'll-
yeah.
We'll go with planks.
Okay, well I'll dig the
But that,
quotes
that's,
out.
who else is interested in this? Any of you?
Very keen.
Yeah. So maybe we can find a
Yeah.
time with Lisa and Emma, and
Next week,
next week, everything comes
I'm
out
there, next week everything happens.
Okay.
Well, it'd be good to get it done in the summer because obviously
It would.
it's a flood area which would make things very,
Having
very slow.
completed by the winter.
Well, I think that's
Yeah.
that's what the hold up with pulling it up was as well, because it was just all
Yeah,
bogged down, so
absolutely.
they couldn't work in
Yeah.
it.
So once planning comes through, we get back to the quote. Hopefully we
Well, I can start looking at the quotes
Yeah,
again now,
absolutely.
dig them out.
Planning should come through because it's only replacement. I can't see there's no problem.
No, that's what. Well, his email saying about looking at it and with a view
In
to
fact,
making
I
a
would
decision.
think
I don't know
planning
why.
will
It's,
probably say you don't need more planning permission.
Well, the heritage people, as I remember on the online stuff,
Yeah, well, they like to put their own in.
they hadn't realised there was already one there. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. Recording of meetings, 19.31, to discuss purchasing better quality recording equipment instead of budget. And we've got an example of a voice tracer audio recorder, is that right?
What's wrong with the equipment you've got?
well, it was Terry that actually mentioned it, sent me an email and asked if it could be discussed on the agenda, because he said sometimes meetings that he's missed, when he tries to listen to them on the website, particularly if everybody starts talking at the same time, he can't. He says there's certain bits that he can't hear, so he just wondered whether.
This as well. Sorry.
This one has
They're,
360-degree meeting recording
Yeah.
facility.
Well, that one seems to have 360
Yeah,
degrees.
it does. It picks. I mean, I obviously, when you do the minutes, sometimes if I'm not completely sure about my notes, I do go back to it, and I occasionally have to listen to something a couple of times, but for me, it normally is fairly clear.
I don't think in view of some of the things that we have got to be spending money on, like the roof in the courthouse, I think we've got to be careful about
No.
rushing into other new projects.
Having said that, the cost was a lot lower than I thought. Yeah, when I look at, what the district council have got, every council with a microphone and a button and so on, well, it wasn't, that would...
Well, the
it
sky's your
definitely-
limit in terms of recording equipment, isn't it? I mean, if you
It's
look,
going-
that one looked quite good.
But I'm
for the
not
money,
sure
but-
that will be any better in terms of what you
Yeah,
get than this one.
No, I agree.
So, at the moment, my view is, we hold back. This is not the formal part of our record of the meeting. As
No,
I
the
understand,
formal part is
the
the
formal
minutes.
part of the minutes, this is a nice to have, and it's to help the people that couldn't be here. So,
And whoever listens to this, they might start emailing in saying, we do need it better, or it's good enough.
Yeah.
Because your target audience.
but I understand where Terry's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've used it several times to check up on things. It's not the easiest, but having
No.
said that, I think it's good enough.
You say it's not formal, but they are a recording of the meeting and what was said and
Oh
what,
yes,
what
there's
business
no
was
doubt they
transacted.
exist.
Yeah.
But we're not obliged as a council to do that. We do this as a nice to have.
Yeah.
We voted on it some years ago.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It was
We
voted on
it.
at council
Yeah, to permit it.
that we do this.
Yeah.
We could stop it at any time if we voted
Yeah.
accordingly. But while we've got it, what we must remember is they must be a true and accurate record.
Yes.
What we mustn't do is alter them in any
Yeah.
way,
No,
edit
exactly.
them,
No, that's
or
what
make any changes, or
No
delete
suggestion
anything
about
from them.
Yeah.
We can't.
There was one occasion where a recorder was allowed to overrun into a closed session.
Oh, right, okay.
And I said then, it was during my time as mayor, and I did say then that we shouldn't interfere with the recording. We should get permission from council to remove the whole thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the outcome was, but that is really what we should do. We should not edit or
But that's not a
modify.
suggestion.
But
There-
that's
There's
not-
no suggestion.
yeah.
No,
But for this
no, no.
this meeting here, I think.
No, when you say it's not formal, it doesn't mean we can do as we like with it.
No, there's no suggestion.
It's got to be an accurate.
So, we're not going to purchase at the moment, but we'll review as and when.
Yeah.
So 19.32, the recreation ground, 32.1, discuss residents' letter regarding the state of the football goal mouth and decide the next steps. I had the joy of going past the ground in the morning on my way to work now, and I popped in, and it's quite a large hole.
Yeah, it looks better in colour actually, boy. I just
I'm sure better, I think it was diesel.
Because we're always having to move them, it's something we've always done.
Well, to be fair, I spoke to John about it and he said they have relaid it, returfed it, moved things around and everything, and he said within
Yeah.
a very short space of time,
Nation
it's,
beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a talk with a couple of grounds milling type people, and one suggestion was to get a little bit of artificial turf to go in front of the goal mouth, so it wouldn't weigh down, because it's very localised. It's like
Yeah,
people
it
stand
is,
and
yeah.
jump.
Of course, yeah.
I don't know if that's something we would want to look at or could look at, but it might be longer lasting.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Might not be just getting these things.
Yeah.
Artificial.
Yeah.
Artificial
Well,
turf.
yeah, so just in a slightly broader than that then, is there a professional organisation that could come and make some recommendations?
Sure, we could find.
Because, you know,
something.
artificial
Next
turf
week.
is one solution, another one might be additional drainage, you know, and something else in there. I don't know what, but if we get somebody, there must be a
Specialist.
professional
Yeah.
groundsman who would know what you do with goal bands.
I think the problem is you can make them better, but then next time that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Amble schools would have lots of experience with this.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
And
They
then
would
we
have,
can
yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
people next week.
But as Councillor Chester says, you know, that in the past we've moved them around, you know, they wear instantly. Because the other sort of thing when I talk about an alternative is this plastic gridding that you
Matting
use
type
on
thing,
the
yeah.
car parks.
I was looking at as well. I think the worry there is if it does get worn away and people start jumping and falling away,
Just
it's
slip
More
it.
dangerous.
But hence get somebody in who understands what they're doing, a groundsman.
Yeah.
Actually, what he'd recommend.
Piece of turf seems a good solution to it.
it will be possibly permanent. And it seems
Yeah.
like you just sort the ground underneath and
You know,
put it on top.
I mean, even the professional football clubs in the lower leagues especially
They must have one,
have problems, and they're only playing, they don't play on their main pitch for practice, they only play their matches. They're only at home every other week, and they get into that sort of state by the end of a season, and then the groundsmen have to work hard through the closed season before the next season starts. So if they have a problem with it, with that amount of usage, the kind of usage we get, which is people playing on there
We know this
all day, every
already.
day, yes.
We know
The,
this, it's
Lisa,
historic.
the second thing, the basketball net.
That's been
That's
done, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we did that straight away.
Okay, good.
And then related to it, 32.2, discuss letters from 2 residents regarding leaving the boundary area of the recreation ground unmown and planted with wildflowers to encourage and support wildlife.
I don't consider this to be something we've already got crocuses and stuff planted all around. You know, so you're going to upset the people who did
The crocus people, no.
It's something I know over there we're doing more and more. So the area outside Cytec, just off Gladwell
Yeah,
Road, has been.
I'm sure. Farmers are doing it.
The issue seems to be, if I'm correct, do we mow the recreation ground? What does NC?
Yeah.
What does NC
No, we do it.
We do
Yeah,
it.
we do it, yeah.
So we could leave a couple of patches,
Yeah, we
possibly
could, yeah.
a trial.
Yeah.
Okay. If I get to talk to somebody about the gold pitch, you want me to talk to them about flowers as well?
But we do have it planted, you see.
Yeah, no, but if there were some
And
areas.
we've
Just
also
every year.
had trees,
Yeah.
The thing is,
tree schemes to put all
Yeah.
around it. And
because Emma mentioned straight away about the crocuses, she said
Yeah.
they've already mown where we mowed it too soon or something. But I mean, if we did sow some wildflowers, they're fairly easy to sow without disturbing the ground too
oh
much,
yes,
aren't they?
I
So
was
it's not.
thinking about that. I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's something to look at. And
So we're saying do a trial area, see how it
that'd be
goes.
a good idea.
We've
Because
got
again,
to
it's-
identify a type of trial area first.
yeah.
Would the group that look after that piece of land on the church be interested in, having an opinion?
Don't mind do.
Which piece of
Think-
land by the church?
St Peter's Churchyard, the St Peter's.
Oh, the ones that do, yeah.
They keep a piece of wild
They
land.
do,
Oh,
yeah.
there.
Don't they? Yeah, so I just wonder whether they've got,
I think they're quite busy looking
yeah,
after
but
that.
even if it's only advice,
Yeah.
how we can, come together with crocuses and wild.
I'm happy to do some work in the next meeting and.
Because if nature did everything correctly, you'd sort of mow it in October, the crocuses would pop up, just after Christmas. They go down before the rest of it came back
Wildflowers
up.
come, yeah.
Yeah, and I watch places like the roundabouts up as you go out
Yeah.
of Oundle, and I've never seen a year when it's actually worked correctly,
Okay, all right.
because somebody comes along and
And
mows
interferes,
one bit and
yeah.
interferes, and not a lot come and do.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't need to be
management,
managed.
really what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you've got the right word,
Yeah.
managing this, it might sound very simple,
No,
Yeah,
we've,
okay.
but
I have
Yeah.
a hay meadow and it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Never wanted to work on, that's because I don't know what I'm doing. 19.33, further, the same sort of idea, discuss Rotherham Borough Council's Verge wildflower planting scheme with a view to doing something similar in Amble. Same sort of idea, I suppose. It's about management and finding a location. And from this chart that Lisa very generously sent me earlier, a lot of what we have, verge-wise, is mowed by highways. And so just again, it seemed that if we could find a couple of patches that we could trial, and get the management working, then at least we could then try and roll it out across the broader area. So if we link that up with the previous one, and I try and do some work over the next month, come up with something.
can I say, I wouldn't welcome us doing something on the recreation ground in the sense that we used to have it wild one end, it was a country park, and it just became somewhere where the drug addicts and hoodies and people collected and
Might depend how you do it.
abused it.
No,
We would have to think
it
about
can't
it.
be
carefully.
it can't be unkept.
No.
No.
You can
No,
have,
it's
you can
not.
have
It's
little
managed.
patches, little patches
Absolutely
that are
managed, which is
Absolutely.
more work for the groundsman.
Item 19.34, approved cost of £1,900 plus that cemetery mapping.
It's like this before, isn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah, it's been to full council,
Yeah.
it's been around. I understand the case better now. I don't know if you have.
Can I just clarify?
Has it been back
That's not
council?
all
I can't recall it full.
That's
council.
what,
It
sorry.
was in here, wasn't it?
It came to us
Came to
last
us,
time.
hasn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah. And we wanted a bit more information, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
At the last meeting.
The costs on here, are they, some of them for cemetery and some for more broad mapping? Or have I misread it?
No, they probably should, because Emma said things like the vergers, there's all sorts of things
It's like a whole
eventually
map
we'd
and
quite
stuff.
like to do, but essentially the
Cemetery is
important
the
one is the
same.
cemetery one, yeah.
Because there's net of that taking these costs.
Say that again.
1900 plus that.
And then there's a net of that package.
Yeah,
Without.
1900, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's put about approving at full council the training, converting all the existing data, so that's all of our database, moving the information over, and then obviously an annual cost of technical support.
What's on our existing database apart from the cemetery?
That's 4,600, what was I on today when I entered one? The mid 4,000s of information of the person buried there, next of kin, all their details, plot numbers. So it's quite a lot of information.
And is this only available if I come in here, or can I go online?
She showed us some other councils that have got it online, so you go on the website and you can look for a family member if you've got a certain amount of information.
And is that an extra cost, or is that part of it?
No, it's part of the service, I believe.
Well, there's
We can add as much information as we want as well, once the bulk of it's there. For instance, you know, we were trying to find the war memorials of the war heroes, and I went on a different site. You can upload photographs of the grave, everything, which is, I think, is quite good, because I do get a lot of phone calls saying, I'm trying to trace a relative, this is the information I have. And that would be at their fingertips. They would literally be able to, with the limited information they've got.
The whole genealogical thing
Yeah.
is big.
They're going to imply a lot of input, energy input from staff to do all that. To run it.
No, less, I
It
believe.
just runs itself.
Yeah, less, I believe.
Okay. Well, upload photographs and that sort of business.
Well, I don't know, can individuals do that, or would that be staff here?
Upload photographs
Yeah.
of the graves.
So if the general public wanted something off the database, do they just go online to do it, or do you guys have to be involved?
Well, she said you can link it to your website eventually when you've got it complete or got the information you want. Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to implore more.
At the minute they have to come to me, and I have literally just got one Excel spreadsheet and then that map that you've seen,
Right.
which isn't particularly
so this makes
good.
it more available and
Yeah.
potentially labour extensive for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to propose it.
I'll second it.
I thought at the last meeting, I had a feeling that we'd approved the going to full council with the cemetery mapping, with the other to follow as add-ons at a later date.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously need the
And that's
training and
what-
stuff.
That's what we
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
This is
But I'm just
cemetery
looking
only.
back through our minutes, and I can't at the moment, if someone can point me to it, I can't see where we've
Those minutes that we
minuted that. We've got the cemetery benches in here, but we look like we've missed that somehow.
Well, this photo is-
And it was at the last
Well,
meeting.
It was at the full council, wasn't it?
No.
I
No,
thought this
it
was.
was in this room.
It was here.
so
Was
I
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was this
it
meeting.
wasn't the last meeting, I don't think.
Wasn't.
Was
I
it
didn't-
not?
I
Was
wasn't
it
here for
before
the
that?
last
I
meeting.
think it was before that, if you can hear it.
But anyway, just the point, we need to check when it was. But yeah, we have seen the issue before, whereas I was
Yes.
initially, sort of couldn't understand why we needed. As soon as I saw the big whiteboard.
No,
Yes.
yes.
Really?
That was full council.
It was full
Yeah,
council,
yeah,
I'm
it
sure
was.
it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
Sure Emma said it was a full council.
No, I think it
It was in
was.
this room, it was stood up against
I remember
the
seeing
window
it
there.
shot as well.
Yeah. But anyway, we approved this one.
It's simply for cemetery mapping, so I'm happy to approve it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Val, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
I seconded it.
Let's
I
vote for
all in
seconded it.
favour?
That's unanimous, brilliant. 19.35, a letter from Lakeside Dental Surgery regarding noise levels from the Zumba classes on Monday, Wednesday and Friday.
Is it just they got to keep their windows shut on that side? And that's
Seems
all?
to be, yes.
yeah, we've asked them to do it in the
Yeah.
past, haven't we?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have.
perhaps we'll put notice on the windows, stick a big legend on it saying.
Do not open.
And we
No,
invested in 4 big fans for the, I don't know whether it was last summer or the summer before.
Yeah.
So there's no real reason for them to have it
Can we
open.
lock them? So they can't open them?
Well, I don't think it's a case of doing that. I think if we just say to her definitively, you cannot have them open.
But how many times do you have to tell her, because it just goes on happening?
I've been down. I've been down personally about 3 times over the last
She doesn't
year or so.
listen.
So
Do we make it, well, it might be her, it might be people
I
standing
think
there.
it could probably be in writing.
yeah, okay.
So we just say,
Can we lock them?
Pardon?
Can we lock those windows so she can't open them?
Yeah. Well,
oh,
I don't
sorry,
know.
that one. There's no locks and any of
No.
these.
Okay.
I'd have to check. I'd have to check.
So ahead of us spending any more money,
Sorry?
ahead of us spending any more money to have them locked shut,
Yes.
yeah, we need another.
And the idea of putting a
More formal,
air conditioning unit would be environmentally unsound. So.
Well, this is what will happen, the doctors will get the environmental people in.
Yeah. So we do a formal letter to her, yeah?
Yeah,
Just requesting the windows are shut.
reminding her that she
On that
has
side.
been asked
Yeah.
previously.
19.36, discuss the possibility of having a scope textile recycling bank somewhere within the Angle area. There's a couple of emails about that.
I am very opposed to this idea.
I think I was too. I know if I have clothing at the moment, I know where to put it. And it serves a nice local service, which
I
seems
think we've got enough.
We've got enough, and there is one outside the fire station.
Yeah, which is brilliant. And that goes
Already?
to a benefit locally, so.
Yeah.
There's an air ambulance one as well in the
Exactly.
football club.
We should
car park.
possibly gone in without permission.
Which one?
Any of them. Have any of the others got permission?
I don't know.
But if they're on their own land, they don't need permission.
Football club permitted
Yeah.
that one, and
Yeah,
I presume
the
that's
fire
on their land, yeah.
station wouldn't need permission probably.
So we're just saying.
So it's a no to that one.
The town is already
Okay.
adequately.
The textile recycling bank.
Because Emma said if we were in favour of it and were looking for a location, she actually said about maybe here in the car park.
Definitely not. The car park, we want to get
Full
rid of
enough.
the bins on the car park whenever we can.
Yeah.
We haven't got enough
Yeah.
space.
Absolutely.
Okay.
19.37, Laxton Drive grass verges. And
This is interesting.
I went for a look
Yeah.
at
It's
mine.
interesting.
I got
Nothing
some.
Angle, is
No,
it?
I drove over the bridge and I thought, hello. This is an Angle. So presumably it's been cut in the past by.
We think by accident, we think that the contractors, and nobody here noticed, and the contractors just thought there's the boundary, I put up to the boundary. And it's actually a councillor from Ashton Parish that said to Emma, you've always done it.
Right.
And because
Okay,
obviously
we'll
we've
always do
changed contractors, given the new contractor that map that I gave you, and
Followed
obviously
the map.
he's followed the map.
No problem doing it for free, have we?
Bill them for it.
Yeah, if Ashton are happy to pay the contractor, they can just include it, rather than set up a new contract with him.
Yeah.
That's what I mean,
Just
going back
transfer
to
them on.
other bits of people wanting to plant wildflowers. It was Lady, what's her name, the old girl, Rothschild, who originally planted them.
Reference, please.
Yes.
So we're saying.
And that's so it was
Subject
actually
to the
delivery
price
planned.
being, yeah, okay.
So,
You can't control it.
19.38. Place I can't pronounce properly, close, Lumley, I went out, I drove everywhere last Thursday night. It was very exciting.
Jerry and I went formally to see them and discuss it.
There's a bit of those bushes there that belong to, it's open, our land, isn't it? Is that what it's over
Well, there seems to be a patch of land with.
I know where it is.
There is a-
Yeah.
So land
Councillor
post.
As we,
the authority on
as we
this.
went,
They're veteran.
there's a mowed part, a piece of land, which is this part, and then behind here, that is also, as it were, ours, this lot.
Would like
And
woodland.
it's almost inaccessible. And so the people in the house behind, I think, sensibly in many ways, as I said before, I'm against doing these land swaps with everybody who wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But in this case, they have agreed that if we were to let them buy it, they would keep it as it is, but neater and tidier.
Yeah.
That's what they want. So it
How much
was,
are you going to sell it to them for?
And how do we enforce the neatness and tidiness of not building a house?
they can't.
They actually would like the whole
Yeah, but
area.
we've told them
Yeah.
that that's very unlikely. When we were
Because when you
talking,
drive up, that's
We need
an
to
important bit of space.
we pointed out that it was council policy not to sell that.
Green spaces.
And
that's
also,
what I said,
if you
no.
did, you wouldn't be able to see what was going on.
No,
It's a
corner,
tiny,
yeah.
tight corner.
And it does, it's quite tight getting up to it, and it's quite a
Absolutely,
refreshing
yeah.
place to get to, so.
Yeah.
Different
But
oasis.
sensibly, that
bit.
is an awful mess with
It
lots of dead bits of trees and,
How do you price something like that?
No idea, I
you
think
get-
berries,
you get-
perhaps get
well,
berries.
berries are our people.
Yeah.
And we would have to do it properly.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
make sure we weren't doing anything.
But my feeling on it is, not to put a sort of land value, but just to say the council can't be at a negative cost. So if we're going to employ somebody to come up with deeds of transfer, all those costs we hand over to them. Because it isn't a big strip of land, is it?
No.
We've got to get through all the palaver of where the edge of that land is.
Yeah, we've also got to conform with what the auditors and people would say was the right way to do it.
Yeah.
So do we need to get a price from it?
So we-
Yeah, I think, we need a valuation for the transaction, how much that's going to cost and the land.
We need the advice of our agents.
We do.
So just before we spend a penny there, we need her to agree that she will pick up any of our costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should bring it back to full council because it's something we haven't done before.
Yeah.
We very firmly haven't done it.
Okay.
But I think in this particular instance, as they've agreed to keep it in much the same form that it's already in,
Absolutely.
we could...
So the only thing I know is defining where a hedgerow is not a good boundary. And I know there's a particular piece of land by the bridleway where the builders had done that, and immediately the people with those houses put their fence the other side of the hedgerow
Oh, yes.
and claimed that. So that's why I say costs on our part.
Yeah.
We've got to find some way of defining a line that protects those hedges.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's not difficult in that case because I think there is a remnants of a fence or something there anyway. I remember.
I think
Do
we
we need to vote on this?
well,
Or?
before we do, I think it would be useful to also refer it to planning so that the councillors there.
Yeah, but what we don't want to do is play tennis with this, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah,
But
the full council.
what I'm concerned about is we
Let's-
certainly need our agents to have a look and advise us on all the pros and cons of this. Because what we don't want to do is do something we think is helpful for no cost to us, and we leave ourselves liable to something horrendous.
Yeah.
We did something to be helpful a couple of years ago over a light that had failed, and we've ended up with an ongoing battle there.
Yeah, we have.
So we want to be very careful we don't do one of those again.
So the proposal we accepted in principle?
Accept in principle, but we go back and
We
say,
get a quote from Berries
are they
on
willing
the
to
likely costs
agree to the costs and then see what Barry
and
says?
then see what
I'm
our
happy to propose that.
full council.
I'll say that.
Let's have a vote.
Favour? That's a good meeting here.
Almost at the end, 19.39, received the May action plan and progress update. See it on the back of the photo. So, is there anything off there that we haven't really touched on? At least a lot of it came back in the courthouse to an extent. There was a thing about the CCTV down the bottom as ongoing.
That quote the last quote has just come in, but it was too late to put on here, so that'll be on the next meeting. One good bit of news, not having given you the news about the courthouse roof, the insurance company paid out on that lamppost.
Oh, that's amazing.
So Emma couldn't believe it because the form and the detail was so vague because she didn't know when it happened, how it happened or anything like that, and she said we've no chance. And then yesterday a cheque came in and Emma just said to me they paid, so other than the excess obviously, so most of the costs were paid, which is good.
Can I just go back to Corn Close?
Yes.
For people who don't know, there is actually a public right of way across it. So that can't be
Pathway, yeah.
Right.
So it would be quite weird
It's going to be tricky,
to
that's
give
why.
them land the other
That's why
side.
they need to agree that they're going to pick up all our costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think there'll be a problem.
Well, no, they might not imagine how big these costs are going to be.
They do. That came up in the conversation.
They've been asking for years. He said to me they've been emailing every other year or something
And
for God
from the
knows how many
conversation
years.
we had, they're well aware of the kind of cost it's going to be.
Yeah.
And
Is that their kind of cost in the 10,000 region?
yeah.
Gosh.
Can I just say that's really useful?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because it's nice when you come back and you think, oh, did we get
Did we decide?
So yeah,
It's
thank you
very
much.
useful for me as
Yeah,
well, to be fair.
It's facts of project management.
Let's not go too far. Any other business for report only? Councillor Glenn, anything?
Nothing from me.
No. Councillor Lee, sir? Anything? No? So I now declare the meeting